for all DFW sports teams. Is this Mavericks year the most disappointing regular season ever?
That word disappointing doesn't sound strong enough.
Is this the most
abhorrent?
Ooh, yeah.
I don't even know if that's the right word.
That's pretty good.
Okay. Does everybody know what that means? Because I need to go look it up. Even though I said it, I'm not sure I know what it means.
It's when somebody who sells their wear for money has a really good stomach.
Inspiring disgust and loathing. Repugnant is a synonym for it.
That feels right. And so
there you go.
I want to stick specifically with regular season because I get it. Like if you expand it out into the playoffs, like losing a championship or anything like that, that's going to be way more heartbreaking. But if you just think about this Mavericks season, going into the season, who were their best, let's say, 5 players?
Kyrie.
Yep.
PJ.
Yep.
Derek Lively.
Yep.
Probably Gafford. Like I would take Gafford over Clay.
Then hopefully you're going to say Luka.
I mean, look, man, his love for hookah and beers.
Hookah Luka.
No, it was definitely. I should have named him first, Kevin. I forgot about him.
Do you like Luka Doncic?
He's been gone so long. Do I like him?
Yeah, no. Do you like that as a name?
If it's a brand of like hookah that he's selling, I'll buy some.
So think about what's happened. Daniel Gafford,
the hookah bag,
hurt. Derek Lively, hurt. PJ Washington, well, he was out, came back and tweaked his injury again. And then Kyrie Irving, he's torn his ACL in his left knee from last night's game. He's out for the rest of the year. And one would think probably into next season. And then your 5th best player, well, your other one in the top 5, Luka, was traded away from the franchise. The person you replaced him with, Anthony Davis, got hurt in his first game. Not to mention, people are mad about raising ticket prices, kicking people out of buildings for expressing their frustrations. People brought a coffin up to the AAC, and folks are worried this team might move.
Somebody texted in and said the 2015 Dallas Cowboys season was pretty bad. Kevin, I'll take you to the 2015 Cowboys season.
That was a bad season.
Do you know who started the most games at quarterback for the Cowboys that year?
It was not Tony Romo.
It was Matt Castle. Matt Castle had 7 starts. He played 8 games.
Gross.
He completed 58% of his passes, though, and he threw 5 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. The Romo played 4 games. Kellen Moore played 3, and Brandon Weeden played 4 as well. There were a total of 16 touchdowns thrown that year, Kevin. 16 touchdowns thrown. You know how boring of a season that is? That's like watching Joe Namath.
That's pretty. Oh, good thing you won that Super Bowl. Otherwise, you don't belong in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so that was pretty miserable. This is. I think the addition of trading away a generational player makes this even more disgusting. Like that 15 Cowboys season, as bad as it was, we saw it. We were actually, Kevin, you and I were doing the Dave and Buster's tour about that, and we had to sit there and keep people excited about football in a season that we knew was wasted. So I think the part of what the Cowboys or what the Mavericks have done of trading away a generational players is the thing that makes it even worse.
Yeah, because that 2015, you were coming off a great 2014 season, a lot of excitement. If you wanted to throw,
you're 12-4 that year.
Yeah, if you wanted to throw the 2008 Cowboys in there, I would certainly be willing to listen to that.
Kevin, you were 12-4, 4-12, 13-3. That 3-year stretch could have been. You could have had 40 wins.
You know the other one that probably not that many, but I get your point. The other one that comes to mind for me is the 2012 Texas Rangers.
You just suggested that team couldn't go 15-1.
No, you said 40 games.
No, don't worry about it.
And by the way, no Cowboys team has ever won more than 13 regular season games. So just saying. All right. The 2012 Texas Rangers, you're coming off just an unbelievable season. Obviously, the heartbreak in the World Series, but you are smashing people in the first half of just annihilating people in the first half of the season. And it looks like, hey, I know you didn't get the title last year, but the Texas Rangers unquestionably have the best team in Major League Baseball. And then they didn't even really make the playoffs. They had to do that stupid 163rd game, and then they didn't even get into the playoffs. Because, like, at least with the 07-08 Mavericks, I'm like, well, you didn't know it was a terrible year until that sadness in the playoffs. With the Rangers, you didn't even get that far.
That was the year Josh Hamilton was that year, the Josh Hamilton year?
Yes.
You're talking about at midseason, I told you.
It was unbelievable.
But at midseason, what did I start telling you? I was like, he's going to break up with you. Be prepared. That was when I went on the big spiel. I was like, look, he's done everything he needs to do. Be prepared for the heartache that's about to happen when he goes and signs with another team. And then, remember, he fell off the map at that point. He stopped being the MVP of everything because he didn't care anymore. He might
have been the MVP of Sherlock.
He had enough stats at mid-season to get a monster contract. Kevin, if he would have completed that season the way that he should have, he might have broken numbers that we'd never seen broken before. That was a brutal year for sure.
And you did lose Josh Hamilton after that, so at least I could see that, but you didn't know until after the fact. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The Kyrie news, that's all I needed to hear today to mark it down. This is the most disappointing regular season, I think, in all of my DFW fandom. Because not only is your team terrible, it looks like they're not even going to make the fake playoffs. They have so many injuries. It looks like now Kyrie's injury will trickle into next season, and you traded away your freaking franchise player.
Now, we watched a bunch of terrible Mavericks seasons growing up.
True.
None of those match that.
The only reason I say no is because the expectations were really low. Like, I remember...
You expected them only win 19 games?
Actually, and there was one season they went 13-69. And the reason why I remember that is because at the time, the worst ever NBA regular season record was 11-71 by the 76ers, which I know that's a lot of numbers and it makes it confusing. But every single day in the newspaper, remember this is 30 years ago, newspapers still more prevalent, they would have a side-by-side comparison between where the Mavs were and where that 76ers team was to see if they could have the worst team in the history of basketball. But at least I knew going into that season it was going to be a garbage season. My expectations are you're coming off an NBA final.
Yeah. Let's do, and you have the band together and added to it in the offseason.
Yes.
I would have waited if you wanted to do it, wait till the offseason. Wait until he blows it in the playoffs. And you can't control him, and then trade him. But I guess they were like, but we'll get better value out of him now. We're going to get a healthy Anthony Davis and 2 number 1 picks.
Yet here we are. Maybe this is a better way to put it from the 214. From the start of the season until now, this is the most heartbreaking season of my life for any sport. Maybe heartbreaking is a better way because it's not just the disappointment of not winning. It's the heartbreak of knowing Luka's never going to be yours again.
Yeah, that one.
I would assume.
That's almost as heartbreaking as knowing that Dirk's career was coming to an end. But
at least then you got a chance to prep, right?
Yeah, you got a chance to even watch the whole thing go down too. I love Bill Simmons, the writer.
Yes.
I've always loved Bill Simmons, the writer. He's one of those people that inspired me to leave the IT world to do this because I loved the way he wrote. He tweeted this out, Kevin, a couple hours ago. Going to those 3 2011 finals games in Dallas was one of my favorite non-Boston basketball experiences ever.
Ooh.
The Mavericks have awesome fans who actually give an S. Easily a top 7 fan base. I'm feeling for them right now. I've never seen Mavs fans leave in, as Joe Trahan put, mass exodus like we saw last night. And they wouldn't.
I don't know about that, but
they wouldn't have done it had it not been for what the new ownership has done, starting with the Luka trade.
I don't agree with that, but that's okay.
You think they would have left in mass exodus if Luka was still around?
Yeah,
I don't think they're losing like this.
Well,
losing Kai. Losing Kai was the straw.
That's a different deal because there are plenty of games when Luka also didn't play, but they were getting hammered. I don't think people left because they were mad at the ownership. I just thought they left because that team was sucking it up.
The team last night, and they looked at it and just said, no Kai. We have Kai Jones.
He was your leading scorer.
We had Kessler Edwards out there. I think they were looking at it going, I came here to see the dancing elephant, and I came here to see the ringmaster and all these things. And what am I getting? I'm getting a bunch of piles of hay. And that's what it felt like last night. I went to see the circus and I didn't get a show.
So now your starting lineup, I guess, is going to be Dante, Clay, Dinwiddie, Dwight Powell, and Kessler Edwards for the time being. Is that what we might guess the next starting lineup looks like?
Yeah. Unless Jason Kidd says, hey, screw it, we're going with a completely different combination. That's the best ones that you're putting out on the court.
I mean, at this point, why the hell not, right?
Jason Kidd has to go, he has to look at his coaching staff and go, do y'all have any ideas? Like, if y'all want to put a lineup together tonight, feel free to give me a suggestion box.
Right.
Because I don't know. I keep putting things out there and they keep falling apart.
Hey, look, Najee Marshall, Max Christie, it's time for you to get 40 minutes a game.
Yeah.
All right, like I know they've been playing a lot. Well, let's just go ahead and go all the way and just be like, hey, let's really see what you guys can do. Kessler Edwards, hey, let's see what you can do in 40 minutes. Like, no more of these half measures. Let's go all the way and see what you got with these guys.
Yeah, I think the now Kyrie injury, Kevin, makes this as devastating as it's ever been for this fan base.
Yeah.
Because of all the other all the other things that have piled into this, the thing that led to this injury. And we've been discussing that too on Anthony Davis. Can he come back? Do you want him to come back with, what already is an injury and what could be a lost season?
Are you at a probably no then?
Probably no.
Yeah.
I really am at a probably no because
I'm with you.
I'm not even sure what it's worth at this point. And I don't like doing that. I love trying to fight through a season and saying, hey, man, when all the healthy bodies come back, we're going to be fire. But losing Kai, that was your fourth quarter transcendent player. If you were going to get in the playoffs, you were going to say, Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, and PJ are going to keep us in games. And if we need some live three-point shooting, man, Clay, we're going to have to turn to you. But in the fourth quarter, you were expecting Kai to take over. There's nobody like that now for this team. Anthony Davis is a very good player, but in the fourth quarter, it's not like he's going to become Kawhi Leonard and say, I got it. Everybody just jump on my back. I'm carrying this team.